How's it going, everyone? My name's Alec Schroering, and I'm going to talk about two of the big no-nos when it comes to being an air traffic controller on duty. I say no-nos, and I mean like specifically, I want to talk about sleeping on the job and being intoxicated on the job. So obviously, when you're thinking of an air traffic controller, I would say like the number one priority is to have that air traffic controller um, not be under the influence or have a long night and be super hungover, be super tired, and still might have some alcohol in the system. And so there's been a few cases over the years of this happening. The first one I'm going to talk about is was in 2015. A dude named Philip Meshik, he's 50 years old. Um, in the end, was arrested and resigned from his position because he was found passed out in his chair with his shirt off, according to the official police report. So they determined that Philip was showing signs of intoxication, and then he also denied that he was drunk, and then refused to take a breathalyzer test. So then after that, they just arrested him on the spot of suspicion of being public intox. The FAA and the contractor for which Philip was working, they ran an investigation on him, and then essentially he resigned before like the official investigation was over. Um, so probably was kind of drunk on the job, considering he was passed out and he had his shirt off. So who knows what was going on with that. The second incident I'm going to talk about was in 2011. The FAA had an investigation going on an air traffic controller who was allegedly working while drunk in Longmont, California. The controller, who was a veteran controller, he was around like midway through his shift on July 5th when he failed a random drug and alcohol test on site. So like the limit for an air traffic control is 0.02% for ATC employees. The legal driving limit, you guys probably know, is 0.08, so it's a quarter of that. The controller in question was not working air traffic, but was still working as an air traffic controller on the job. Um, and then another few. In that year alone, there were like 9 total incidents that the FAA put out. So on February 19th, a controller was found intentionally sleeping in the radar room in Knoxville, Tennessee, forcing his colleagues to assume his duties. That guy, or girl, didn't say, was fired. On March 23rd, a controller at Reagan National Airport in D.C. Was suspended for a failure to respond to 2 incoming planes. This guy was a 20-year-old veteran working on 4 consecutive overnight shifts. That he told the investigators that, and that he inadvertently fell asleep. Still fell asleep, didn't respond to 2 incoming planes. Pretty big deal, big no-no. And then on April 11th, there was a controller in Seattle's Boeing field who was terminated after twice falling asleep on duty. I guess they gave him a warning the first time, but the next day, the controller was found sleeping in the tower at Reno Tahoe International Airport while a medical flight tried to reach him, and eventually a regional controller stepped in to guide the traffic. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about this lady who was an air traffic controller at Las Vegas who became incapacitated during a solo stint on a night shift at a tower of, sorry, not Las Vegas, but it was a tower in McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas, who has quit since this happened. But the controller is no longer employed by the FAA, and she was basically like slurring her words, and the pilot who was talking to her could not, for the life of him, understand what's going on. So I'm going to play a little video here. You're not going to be able to see the video and the words, so it's going to be probably kind of hard to understand what she's saying. But you'll be able to get the fact that she could not talk and was just drunk for sure.
Could hear something wrong in the tower.
Princess, close the lamp. Somebody up there that knows what they're doing.
The controller slurring her words alone in the Las Vegas tower as another controller took a break.
Princess 760, room remote, close to go. Say that again?
For 40 minutes last Wednesday after 11 p.m., pilots getting confusing messages.
Princess 762, runway 1 right, clear for takeoff.
Okay, confirm it's Frontier 262, clear for takeoff.
The controller, according to the FAA, becoming incapacitated, leaving her mic open. Pilots calling their airlines.
Everybody just stand by one. I'm taking over now. I'll be right back with you. Thank you.
The controller is no longer working for the FAA, which immediately changed the overnight shift policy, requiring 2 controllers in the tower until at least midnight.
So yeah, you could hopefully see that she could not talk, and she was even reading back wrong call signs. The correct call sign was 762 Frontier, and she was saying 262. And the guy on the break who was also there in the tower had to step in for her. And then since then they changed their policy to where they have to have 2 controllers in the towers. So thanks, guys. Big notes: if you're going to be an air traffic controller, don't fall asleep on the job, don't drink on the job, call in sick. Not that hard. All right, thanks, guys.